6 p.m. in Pontem in the southwest region, same time in Bamenda, which is the chief town of the northwest region. Good evening, dear viewers of Equinoxe Television. Thank you all for joining us on tonight's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Our major stories tonight: a BPC candidate in the French subsystem of education has died after collapsing while checking his examination results at Lycée Bileng de Koutaba in Cameroon's West region. The student, identified as Mohamed Arafat, reportedly became distressed after failing to find his name on the list of successful candidates. And also we'll tell you how concerns are growing over the health of detained activist Esama Blaise, who is currently at the New Bell Central Prison and is reportedly suffering from severe diabetes, raising fears that his situation could mirror the case of Anise Dekane if he does not receive the urgent medical care which he definitely needs. And also we'll take you to the southwest region, where the governor, Bernard Kalabila, has ordered the immediate closure of all unauthorized coastal landing sites used to smuggle goods and also illicit fuel, commonly known in that part of the country as Zua. The crackdown on illegal maritime trade was announced during a regional security meeting that took place in Limbe in the southwest region. Those are top stories tonight. The news in full in a jiff. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for choosing Equinoxe Television to get yourself informed on what's happening in Cameroon and equally out of Cameroon. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. A wave of sadness has swept through Koutaba in the Nous division following the reported death of a student of Government Bilingual High School in Koutaba after the release of the BPC examination results. The death of the student, identified as Arafat, has shocked his family and the school community. Details with Fomi Armstrong-Sanda.
The student, identified as Arafat Muhammad, was 16 years old. According to eyewitnesses, he collapsed immediately after seeing his name among those who failed on the result posted at the school campus on Tuesday. He was rushed to the Mataket Hospital in the town of Koutaba in the Nous of the West region, but he died few minutes later from what doctors described as emotional shock. Arafat was later buried in his native village of Kunja Aeroport in the Ntupuchi-1 neighborhood of Koutaba. Our team spoke with the school bursar, Mr. Efamju Mama, as well as the father of the deceased, Mr. Mifiri Yakuba, and his younger brother, Mifiri Hassan.
Aussi avec eux qui ont eu, ils devaient être un peu stressés.
Oui, parce que il faut vraiment faire comprendre aux enfants.
A psychologist we consulted said students need better preparation and counseling before and after examinations to be able to manage both success and failure.
C'est pour échouer ou pour réussir.
A traditional notable from the Kunja Fondom, Mr. Fifin Yao Idrisu, also noted that some families still use corporal punishment as a form of discipline, which adds to pressure on learners. At the Koutaba District Hospital, we also observed the facility where emergency cases like this are received. Arafat Muhammad will not return to school again next year. His death has plunged his entire family and the entire educational community into grief and has reopened the debate on how school failure is handled, a reality that remains difficult for many young learners to accept.
We leave the Nous division, the west region of Cameroon, to the southwest region, where the southwest regional authorities have intensified efforts to combat illegal maritime trade, announcing the immediate closure of all unauthorized coastal landing sites used to smuggle illegal fuel, commonly known in the northwest and southwest regions as Zua, and equally other goods. The decision was announced in Limbe during a security meeting chaired by the southwest governor, Bernard Kalabila. Details with our Boya-based chief correspondent, Rex Afford.
The decision was announced by the governor of the Southwest region, Bernard Kalabila, after chairing a security meeting in Limbe that brought together the senior divisional officer for FACO, divisional officers, and other security collaborators.
Those clandestine beaches, a priori, to traffic fuel, but beyond the fuel, you have the drugs, you have all type of products like arms and ammunitions and many other illegal traffic.
The governor has said the administration would no longer tolerate illegal importation activities carried out through unauthorized beaches along the Fako coastline. He instructed the senior divisional officer for Fako and all divisional officers in the division to immediately close every clandestine beach.
We have instructed the local authorities, I mean the GO, the SDO, the commissioner, to close all the clandestine beaches. The population are pleading, they must survive, they have to struggle. But we say, okay, what can we tolerate should be done inside the approved institution who are the port.
Henceforth, only officially authorized ports will serve as recognized entry and exit points for imports and exports in the southwest region.
In Fako, we have it now, we have Boda, and we have Chico. So we don't need to go through those clandestine beaches. We came to sensitize the population and to reiterate the strong measures close to fight the functioning of clandestine beaches.
The measure is expected to reinforce government control over maritime trade, improve customs surveillance, and curb smuggling activities.
And we stay in the southwest region of Cameroon as years of armed conflict have left Mukongyong village found in Akwaya subdivision without basic social amenities. Determined to reverse the situation, the village elite have launched a coordinated development initiative to rebuild the community and equally restore hope to its residents. Rex Afon looks at the challenges facing the village and equally the efforts on the way to improve the lives of those living in that part of the country. Details in his report.
With the escalation of hostilities in Cameroon's English-speaking regions, one of the communities was affected is Mukongyong village in Akwaya subdivision of the southwest region. As a result, the community has been deprived of several basic social amenities.
This village has been backward for some time due to its problems, socio-economic problems of lack of roads, potable water, electricity.
Most of the people in Mukongyong are farmers, agriculturalists. They cultivate many crops, and you see farmers have products. They don't have this possibility to take this product to the market.
Meeting in Boya, sons and daughters of Mukongyong resolved to intensify efforts to unite themselves and spearhead the development of their village.
The aim of Mweda is to unite, to rally all Mukongyong sons and daughters that reside out of the home community for one purpose: to give back through identifying priority development projects and the needs, the development needs of our people, to see how we can put our resources together and give a better life and bring about sustainable development to our home community.
The mayor of Mamfe, who traces his roots to Mukongyong, has pledged his unwavering support for the community's development initiatives.
All of us know of the crisis. Mukongyong was hard hit by the crisis. And gone are those days, and today, what we are about to do is to rebuild. They don't have any other tendencies other than discussing the development of Mukongyong. I've advised them that contribution, coming together, forgiving one another, staying together is what matters. We cannot develop if we are not.
The elites have prioritized their development agenda and are set to begin by providing the most essential social amenities before gradually expanding to the other development projects.
And now we talk something else. Concerns are growing over the health of detainee Esama Bless, an activist who's reportedly suffering from severe diabetes, raising fears that his condition or situation could mirror the case of Judges Anisede Kane if he does not receive the urgent medical care that he definitely needs. We have details of his deteriorating health condition in this report. Andre Blaise Esama's health is deteriorating behind bars. Suffering from severe diabetes, the detained activist is battling complications that have left one of his toes severely damaged by tissue decay. Despite being taken regularly to the Lakentini Hospital for treatment, his lawyers say he is not receiving the specialized medical care his condition requires.
New Central Prison lacks the medical facilities to properly treat serious illnesses like diabetes. Esama's condition has worsened, and despite occasional hospital visits, he is not receiving the specialized care that he needs.
C'est encore pire lorsqu'il s'agit des détenus qui souffrent de maladies dégénératives, un peu comme le diabète dont souffre.
Nearly 8 months after his arrest, Andre Blaise Esama remains in detention at the New Central Prison. He was arrested on November 7, 2025, a day after President Paul Biya's swearing in.
Esama has been held at the New Central Prison under an administrative detention order issued on November 10th, 2025. When I realized that his detention had become unlawful, I filed a petition before the President of the High Court in December 2025, requesting his immediate release through a habeas corpus proceedings. The administrative detention order was never renewed after it expired. As a result, there has been no legal basis for his continued detention.
According to his lawyer, he was arrested without a warrant and without legal representation. His case is now before the military tribunal on charges linked to state security, a procedure his defense describes as irregular.
Human rights defender Marius Kaptum insists that detention does not strip a prisoner of his right to health care. He adds that prison authorities are legally required to ensure detainees receive appropriate medical treatment in accordance with Cameroonian law and the country's international commitments.
As his condition continues to worsen, Andre Blaise Esama's lawyers fear the consequences could be fatal if adequate medical care is not provided. They warn that without urgent intervention, his situation could end in tragedy, and are calling on the authorities to guarantee his right to health and to life. And now we talk health. Despite progress, HIV remains a major public health challenge in Cameroon, with about 21,000 new infections each year. Although national HIV prevalence has dropped to 2.6%, transmission remains high among key populations in urban centers like Douala. And speaking during a press briefing in Douala, the Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manauda Malachi, announced the introduction of long-acting injectable known as cabodacraphy, a 2-monthly HIV prevention treatment aimed at curbing new infections. Innocent Aze attended the press briefing and now files in this report.
21,000 new HIV infections every year. That is the reality Cameroon continues to face despite remarkable gains in the fight against the epidemic. Although HIV prevalence among adults aged 15 to 49 has fallen to 2.6%, the virus remains a major public health concern, particularly among key populations and in cities such as Douala, where new infections remain high. It is against this backdrop that the Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manauda Malachi, launched the pilot phase of long-acting injectable cabodacraphy pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP, a breakthrough HIV prevention tool for HIV-negative people at substantial risk of infection.
HIV prevention can no longer rely on a single method. It must be a combined approach. It must be targeted and accessible. Above all, it must take into account the practical realities of those most at risk of infections. Pre-exposure prophylaxis PrEPs precisely fits within this framework.
Unlike the conventional daily oral PrEP, the injectable version offers long-lasting protection, reducing the burden of taking tablets every day while improving adherence, confidentiality, and access to prevention services.
PrEPs is a preventive treatment intended for HIV-negative people at high risk of contracting HIV. It involves administering an antiretroviral drugs before potential exposure to the virus in order to significantly reduce the risk of infections.
However, the injection does not replace condoms, HIV testing, or regular medical follow-up, but complements existing prevention methods as part of a combined strategy.
Long-active cabotegravir injectable PrEP therefore expands our range of prevention options by offering an additional option. It's reduced the burden associated with taking tablets frequently. It was also facilitated some pupil adherence to a continuous, discreet and medically supervised prevention strategy.
The pilot phase will focus on communities most vulnerable to HIV. The targeted approach is designed to maximize impact as Cameroon works towards eliminating HIV as a public health threat by 2030 under its national strategic plan.
The report done by Innocent Aze on the introduction of the long-acting injectable known as cabotegravir ends tonight's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. Thank you so much for your keen attention. Have a great evening in the company of interesting programs on ETV. Bye-bye for now.